Hey everyone. So today I've got a little bit more relaxing and fun content for you. Let's check out my personal most wanted units. It's a top 5 list. I could go until top 10, but this would stretch the video a little bit too much, and there isn't really that much to talk about each unit. It's just fun, pretty much, this video. I had this idea for a couple of days already, and I thought, like, how can we make this a fun one? And I came up with another PowerPoint presentation, basically. So yeah, let's check out my personal top 5 that I'm very excited about, and I will pull on most of these units, but the very first one, number 5, that is pure Black Mage Vivi. He's on the same banner as New Vision Zidane. At least he was on the JP server. So if the same happens on our global server, I might actually get him too, and I wouldn't be even too sad. So why am I excited about Black Mage Vivi? He's actually on the list for the memes. Black Mage Vivi on his own, if you're not using him for memes, and memes implying that the Reflect meta is a meme, it is a meme to me, he isn't that good other for the Reflect stuff with Steiner. But yeah, should I get him while going for NV Zidane? You guys really can expect a lot of fun videos, especially fun Reflect meme videos featuring this very Vivi and 7-star Steiner that we're getting. The Steiner we are about to get is a new unit. And on his LB, he applies Reflect to the whole party. And if you're using Vivi, you can quadcast or triple cast. I'm not sure. I believe you can quadcast his black magic spells and just reflect it off of the team onto the enemy. And the coolest thing about this is it just chains on its own. So he's a tag chainer without the tag element or the tag suffix added to him. It's the funniest thing in the world. I saw it on Sinsar's video once. It was so fun, and I was like, yep, I want that too. That's pretty much the only reason why Black Mage Vivi is on this list. I love these videos, and I do have a few ideas that I want to explore once I get him. If I get him, that is, because I'm not actually gonna chase Black Mage Vivi. But if I get him along the way, I'm not gonna wail. If I get him along the way with Near Vision Zidane, that'd be really cool and awesome. I'd be happy. So yeah, but other than for the memes, he actually has a flexible free. He's an actually flexible free element magician, fire, ice, lightning, and he also provides the possibility to go non-elemental, which I find very interesting, because on the, I believe it's the Trials of Mana or Secret of Mana, I'm not quite sure which one it is. There is another unit that is specializing on non-elemental damage, and it's a female unit. I forget the name, to be honest. I should have looked it up, but she's super good as a non-elemental mage, and for a couple of weeks, at least on the JP server, she was meta, and maybe Black Mage Vivi can do the same. I don't know, but exploring the non-elemental road might be something cool to do, I guess. And what I also like about pure Black Mage Vivi is that he's not an LB finisher, so we can put our LB pots aside, let them stockpile again, because there is no reason to. You only use his LB to increase the modifications on his black magic spells. So, LB pots, not necessary, which is a huge plus. Alright, number 4, you guessed it right, is the other Final Fantasy IX unit. It's New Vision Zidane. So, his STMR is pretty sweet. If you don't know what his STMR does, it's a buff that stacks up to 5 turns, and on turn 5, the whole party gains 300% LB damage for 1 turn. So it's basically use it this very turn or goodbye buff. But this is super strong. I mean, every unit that is focused on an LB, which probably is every single unit in this game as of right now, loves this STMR. So take, for example, a unit such as Near Vision Laswell, for example. He only has 150 LB increase in his Brave Shift, which is kind of bad, right? 150 LB increase for an LB focused unit, But with this STMR, Envy Laswell suddenly becomes good. And that's a huge surprise, isn't it? Well, he won't be meta because all the other units releasing up until this point eclipse him by a huge amount, but still, it's a huge buff to everyone pretty much that's not already at 250 LB increase skills. Envy Zidane also is a huge roll compression king. He's not only a passive provoker, he's super easy to gear for evasion because he has 50% evasion in his passives, which is pure awesome. He provides Mirage for the team, and well, he has extreme limit burst damage. So with this unit, you're gonna spend a lot of LB pots again. He has party-wide Avian Killer, which is cool, but Avian is more of a rare type of enemy. But we do have one Dark Visions where we are facing an Avian as the very final boss. It really depends whether Zidane will be out for that, but we do have Locke too with Avian Killer, especially Locke's STMR. But still, if Envy Zidane is out for that Avian Dark Visions, he's your go-to guy. What I also find very interesting about Zidane and what makes me excited is that he has immunities to the 4 most used ailments from bosses, which are Poison, Sleep, Confuse, and Petrify. And if you've seen my Erinys clear, the boss cycled through all possible status ailments. And having a unit such as Zidane with Sleep, Confuse, and Petrify immunity, that is pretty sweet. Especially Sleep, Confuse, and Petrify are the 3 most annoying ones. And not having to gear towards that is a huge plus in my book, at least. I know Dark Visions bosses usually don't use these ailments, but for trials, he's a staple going forward, pretty much, I would say. Until we get Hawkeye, that is, which is the next power creep to Zidane. At least in terms of damage. And what I also like about Zidane, he deals huge damage. And keep in mind how many U's I put in there, because that is the metric we are using for this video to determine how good a unit is in terms of damage. Right, next up, number 3, and this shouldn't be any surprise. It is Neovision Noctis, or Azure Blade Noctis, very likely to come either next week. At least next week we are getting a UOC ticket, which would imply a mocking event, but technically, or usually, we are getting a raid event right after story events. So we're gonna see. I'm still fully down on my prediction that Neovision Noctis is in 2 weeks, so 2 Thursdays from now. But we might see him already next week. So why am I excited? I mean, I love Final Fantasy 15. I love the sprite. I still love Final Fantasy 15. Neovision Noctis provides a 25% sword imperil, which is awesome. I mean, most of the units these days are using swords. Terra does, for example. Ferris does. So, yeah. Noctis is pretty good. I also really like Final Fantasy 15. He's a superb DPS, not only very good is an understatement, to be fair. He's a very, very, very good DPS. He deals huge amounts of damage, but huge with only 3 U's this time around. But you gotta have 2 of Crown Prince Noctis STMR run through Chronicle battles. If you don't know what Chronicle battles are, I'd suggest you watch my other video I did on Chronicle battles lately, or last week. And yeah, it's a huge time investment, at least for the second weapon. The first one should be maxed after you run all 10 stages of the Chronicle battles, but the second one, that is the pickle. It takes a while. Let's hope we get a bonus currency for using Final Fantasy 15 units, because that actually makes this whole time investment a lot more bearable. What I also like about Neovision Noctis is that his STMR is pure awesome. It is a chest piece with 50% Reaper Killer, and it also provides 100% jump damage, which is super cool. Neovision Noctis is a Dragoon, mind you, if you didn't know that. So 100% jump damage on a chest slot is amazing. And 50% Reaper killer on top of it, it's just out of this world. I mean, it's amazing. And his vision card, it has 110 attack, which is great. I love these STMRs. Vision cards that have more than 100 attack. What's also cool is it provides 50% jump damage on top of things. It's only for Final Fantasy 15 units though, but still. If you're using Dragoons, you are using Neo Vision Noctis for sure, or Arden. I mean, all of this, other than loving the sprite, also applies to Arden. So if Noctis and Arden are on the same banner on the global server, I wouldn't mind pulling Arden, because they are pretty much like for like. It's just the element that switches around, where Noctis is focused on light, Arden is focused on dark, and vice versa. Although I should state that Arden has not a Reaper killer STMR. It's the same, but the killer is different. I believe Arden has human killer instead of Reaper killer. It's still super good, but from my point of view, I personally like Noctis a little bit more. I like the sprite. It's way cooler than Arden. Although Arden, he's got that Michael Jackson vibe with his hat on. So it's funny. You cannot unsee this anymore after noticing. But yeah, moving on before I drift off too much. Number 2 is Avalanche Tifa. I was super happy to get her. You hopefully saw me pulling on her on the JP server. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm one of the few, apparently, who likes the changes the team made to the story, with it being an alternative universe Final Fantasy. I really like the whole game from start to finish. I don't have any issues with the story and where it's possibly going, so I'm very excited to see what the developers come up with for part 2 and upcoming. So yeah, and I also like this iteration of Avalanche Tifa in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I mean, let's be honest, the best thing about her is a huge damage with a lot of use. As you can see, it is just absurd, and you're gonna see a little sneak peek of how much damage she can dish out with very little effort in a sneak peek video at the end of this. But yeah, Avalanche Tifa has the whole package, literally. Her Trustmaster is awesome, her Super Trustmaster is absurdly good, although you can only pick one of her, or the bonuses of the STMR only apply once to her, which I find sad, but on the other hand, it'd be absurd. And her vision card with 125 base attack, all of it is awesome. So she's a unit that I'm gonna pull for sure. Now, if you're wondering why is Sephiroth not on this list, and you know from my last video probably that Oracle Luna Freya is on spot number 1. At the time of making this video, the Sephiroth wasn't up on the wiki. That is what I was looking to say. So yeah, Sephiroth is cool and all, but from my point of view, he's a little bit too one-dimensional, even more so than Avalanche Tifa. I mean, both Avalanche Tifa and the new version Sephiroth, they are basically the same unit, just different element and different sprite. But I personally like Tifa more than Sephiroth. Sephiroth is the best antagonist the Final Fantasy series ever had. I feel like Sephiroth is cooler than Kefka, but I'm more of an Avalanche fan with Tifa, with Cloud, with Barret, especially Jessie. Ever since Final Fantasy VII Remake, I feel like the team made such a good job to make Jessie very, very likable. Just with Bix and Veg, they are all super lovely, and I love all of the characters. Well, Sephiroth is still a cool guy and all, but I'm all for Team Avalanche, sorry to say. Alright, and number 1, well, obviously, it's Oracle Luna Freya. So why am I excited about her? Obviously, she's Final Fantasy 15. She's the main female lead, although she has an untimely death in the game way too soon. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't played the game yet. And as you might have seen already, I am a huge sucker for evocation DPS. And she's an evoker first and foremost, water evoker to be specific. and evokers are my personal weakness. I can't even gear 2 evokers at a time now, which makes this even better for me. So I can run Terra plus Luna Freya, for example, or Terra and Ferris, as you've seen in a couple of videos for Dark Visions already. But yeah, Luna Freya. If you want the best comparison, think Near Vision Terra, but twice as good. That's the easiest analogy you can make here. It's literally Luna Freya doubles, almost doubles, I should say. It's not quite double, but almost doubles everything Terra does. It's straight up power creep. Yeah, it's lazy. Yeah, but her sprite is awesome, and all of it is awesome about her. So yeah, she's actually also a decent light chainer in base, which Terra is not, for example. And I mean, we fixed this problem or issue with Ferris, who is a very decent fire finisher in her Brave Shift. She's physical though, so keep that in mind. But yeah, when you compare her to Terra, which is the best comparison you can make here, she's just way ahead of the curve at the time. And Oracle Luna Freya, if you have the gear for evocation stuff, she will carry you for a very, very long time. And I personally look forward to getting her, and no matter how many copies of her I pull on her banner, I will go to pity, just because I really want her at EX plus 3, just like I got Terra at EX plus 3, because she has such a she has a long shelf life. Let's put it that way. I can't pronounce the other word, but you probably know what I mean. And what I also like about Oracle Luna Freya is that she's got a 25 light amp for the party. Yeah, it's tied to her base limit burst, but since you are kind of locked to the base form after limit bursting in her Brave Shift, might as well. Okay, and yeah, let's check out a video of Luna Freya demolishing stuff. Well, Avalanche Tifa is also in there. I'm curious to see who deals more damage. On previous attempts with the friend unit I'm gonna use, Luna Freya always dealt more damage. So let's check it out, and we'll be right back. Alright, so what I'm attempting right now is the level 10 stage for the Final Fantasy VII Chronicle Battles. That is the word I was looking for. It is the last week's Chronicle Battles, not the one that we got with Sephiroth. By the way, Sephiroth, super cool. But this is not a Sephiroth video. This is more a showcase of Luna Freya in particular, and a little bit of Avalanche Tifa. So the gear on this team, well, does it really matter? I don't have that much gear, as you can see on all of them. My Tifa has some bare bones stuff. I haven't had the time to run her through Item World, but this is at least a little bit of it. Both other Arifs, they are basically naked. And I'm using R2's Luna Freya, which is pretty well geared. As you can see, her STMR is run through Item World. Pretty cool. In her shift form, he also has a second copy of her STMR, which is very cool. This is his STMR, right? No, it's not her STMR. It's the Chronicle Battle Weapon you get from her. It is very, very good. She has 5.4k magic points in her Brave Shift, so this is pretty good. And he's also got her Vision card, which is very sweet. So yeah, she's pretty much gonna carry the fight. And let's check out how much damage she can deal. By the way, we don't have any breaks whatsoever in this. Just so you know, and how strong Luna Freya is. So let's have Descendant Arif do some buffs to the party. This one increases basically stats to 80, attack, magic, defense, etc, etc to the party. The other ones are basically the same, and damage mitigation if I'm not mistaken, so let's do that. The other Arifs will just cast Banishka. Group 4, Cloud, he doesn't serve any purpose. If I had a breaker, I would use that breaker obviously, but I don't. Let's have Tifa just use her grant this ability only 1 use per battle. It's LB increase to the party, but it's also a self-4-turn attack boost, 250 LB boost, and it fills the LB gauge almost entirely. Let's also shift Luna Freya. She is going to power up. That is pretty much her Terra equivalent, 250 LB damage boost, fills her LB gauge entirely. This one over here is a water attack, which also imperils water by 120. We need this. And this one is a 300% magic increase. So let me check this out. Okay, that one worked. Let's chain these two. Well, chain, quote unquote. Well, that worked out pretty well. So the boss is going to attack now, but everyone is going to survive this. They did last time around. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so the good Cetra Arif, or Descendant Arif, is going to quad cast Banish Guard. The other two that are not equipped and not enhanced will also quad cast Banish Guard, so we do have a chain up and running for both our campers. Now, while Luna Freya is a single hit finisher, much like Ferris and Terra, our girl, what's her name? Tifa is not. So, or is she? Or does it state? Oh, yeah, it's a few hits. I know it. Oh, hit 12, I believe. So it's a little bit tricky, but this should not fail. So let's do this. And let's have them cap. Oh yeah, that was... So Tifa on her own did roughly 60%, and the rest is coming from Luna Freya, obviously. So we dealt, let's see, 1.4 billion without any breaks. Keep that in mind. And let's check out the damage breakdown. Who dealt more damage? I wouldn't be too surprised if it was Luna Freya though. So let's check out the damage sheet. Oh, it was actually Avalanche Tifa who did more damage than Luna Freya. That actually surprises me, because the last couple of times it was the other way around, where Luna Freya dealt way more damage. But yeah, both Luna Freya and Tifa, they are super easy to use, as you've seen. Both are dealing tremendous amounts of damage, even without any breaks whatsoever. And that's the reason why I'm so excited for both of these units. So that pretty much concludes this very little and very brief showcase. I will do more on both of these units once they're out on the global server. We are pretty much guaranteed Luna Freya within the next 5 weeks sometime. It's the next raid battle event we are supposed to get. Well, there's also the FMA collab, but yeah. After that, the next raid battle event is Luna Freya, and I'm super excited, like I said. So back to the PowerPoint presentation it is. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little preview, but we are also sadly at the end of this fun video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and thinking of reasons why I am excited for these units. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it, and tomorrow you're gonna see some real content, if you want to put it that way, with my chaining video. So what are chains, how to chain properly, how I am approaching chains, and how to make them actually work, because some of them, they are very tricky. Think Sora's Limit Burst, for example. That is a topic I'm going to touch upon. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to that video. That pretty much sums it all up for this one. I hope you're having a great Saturday so far, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.